As exciting as the history is of this place, and what's transpired over since the 60s, it's really exciting about what's to come too. We have a great team of people that work here. It's at the marina, at the West Shore, across the street, the ski area, and under the guidance of JMA, just really looking forward to where we can go with it. It's nice to respect the history of where things have been and where they've come from, but it's constantly evolving and changing, and it's nice to think we're a part of that change, and hopefully we can shape it for the better and keep it a place where there'll be great memories created.
As we enter 2022, this winter marks the 60th anniversary here at Homewood Mountain Resort. We have come a long way since our humble beginnings in the 1960s, but the heart and soul of Homewood will always remain. A one-of-a-kind place where the mountains meet the lake, where families and friends can escape into nature, and where we can all make memories together that last a lifetime. We invite you to join us as we take a look back to appreciate where we came from and celebrate the people that made Homewood the special place you see today.
My name's Rupp, and I was involved in the ski area from the 60s to 91, so it's been a long time at the resort. And it's been a wonderful experience for me, and glad to see it still exists.
My name's Kevin Mitchell. I actually grew up in Northern California. I'm the general manager here at Homewood Mountain Resort and the West Shore Cafe and Homewood High and Dry Marina. So I started working here in 2011. I started off as the assistant general manager, working under the mentorship of Kent Hubengartner, who was the general manager at the time.
Kent Hubengartner here. Never go by Kent and never go by anything but Hoop. I started at Homewood in the winter of 2006 and 2007. I've always said the best part of being in the ski industry is the skiing. And to a degree, that's correct, but I've always enjoyed the interface with employees, our guests, and the social aspect of having the capabilities of meeting people doing what you love.
My name is Nancy Gimbert. I'm originally from San Jose, California, and I am the senior accounting manager at Homewood. I first started working here in 1983. And I worked in the Hofbrau. My favorite part about working here are the people. I've met many, many people here, not only our visitors, but the staff. They're like family to me, and I'm the big mama bear, and I like to take care of everybody, so.
My name is David Topol. I'm from Lake Tahoe, born and raised, and my position here is Marina Director. So I first started working at Homewood Marina actually back in the 90s when I was a kid. At the time, my family owned the marina, so it was a summer job in between school. So it was washing boats and pumping gas and just being a dockhand and driving the dinghy boat, and then eventually each year take on a little bit more responsibility, driving the forklift, and actually was a boat mechanic for a couple summers, an apprentice learning, and then went to college for a while, came back, and then really started working in my role now.
So here on the West Shore of Lake Tahoe, there's a lot of history. There was a lot of mining that happened back in the day. There was, before that, logging that happened. We really strive to make sure we are stewards of our environment, and now the focus is really sustainability and making sure that the forests are taken care of, the mountain is taken care of, and then also the connectivity to Lake Tahoe, making sure Lake Tahoe is clear and future generations have the opportunity to enjoy the lake for years to come.
The history of Homewood and the marina and the West Shore is particularly special to me because, starting in the 60s, my dad started acquiring the property, starting with the marina and working his way north, and eventually owning all 10 parcels between Fawn Street and Silver Street. And so growing up, kind of grew up on a construction site. You know, the building was built, but my dad started adding the outdoors dry rack storage and owned the old West Shore Cafe at its old location, which was really a seasonal restaurant. It was only open in the summers, and it was this small building burger shack with a bar, and my dad just had a bigger vision of that, and eventually over time took all those small units, combined them into the West Shore Cafe as it stands today, and created this year-round building where you can have the restaurant year-round and the units for people to stay on the water.
I just loved Tahoe. It was just the place to be. My first job was over in North Shore, a little place called Varenville. I was a bellboy. And I always looked at the hill back here and said, you know, that'd make a wonderful ski hill. Because I was working part-time at other ski areas. And so I got a lot of learning skills from those times. But the hill back here always intrigued me as being a place to ski. Don Huff had the resort. I rented the space at the pier. And I said, you know, if I put a ski lift back here, would you be interested? And he said, well, business isn't that good in the summer. And he said, I'd like to extend the season. And if you could put a ski area over there, I would open the lodge. And I said, well, let me see what I can do. And that's how it started.
Homewood Mountain Resort has some amazing terrain. We offer all of the types of skiing and riding that Tahoe has to offer. Everything from a 1.5 mile beginner run on Homeward Bound to the steeps of Quail Face and everything in between. And so it's really neat to really welcome guests. They come from all levels of skiing and snowboarding, and there's really something to offer everybody. My personal favorite is the tree skiing at Homewood. You can't find tree skiing as good as what Homewood has to offer. I'd tell you my favorite run, but I can't. I can show you maybe if you come up and take a few runs.
My favorite run, well, I have some secret runs that I have to hike out to that nobody knows about, but my favorite run is Gilbert's because it's close to Gimbert's. And it's a really fun, quick, fast run.
So when I first went over to explore it and look around, I remember skiing Rainbow Ridge and right on down and coming down the face. I got about halfway down Rainbow Ridge and I kept in mind that I was looking at the lake all the time, you know, and I thought that was pretty magnificent. One of my favorite runs to share with people, especially ski industry people from other areas, was to take them down Glory Hole. From the top of the mountain, we'd ski down Rainbow Ridge, which is pretty relaxing, and then you'd cut over left and holding the same speed, and all you could hear was, holy shit, because the world drops out from under you down that. And so there's those difficult parts of Homewood that can be a surprise to people, and that was one of my favorite things to do.
I like skiing at Homewood for probably the same reason a lot of people do. The snow stays nice a couple days after a storm. It's a bit more laid back in terms of pace. The views, I mean, every time I ride up the chair, you turn around and you take it in, and every time you're skiing down, you're just kind of in awe of, if you blow a turn, you might fall in the lake, right? There's a lot of good runs at Homewood. I love a good Dutch treat. I mean, you get off the chair, you fire down the ridge, and then come into Dutch treat with some speed. There's a couple secret spots in there where I'll take you, but it's hard to describe where to get to. But some really nice, fun, steep turns in there with great powder and exposure.
So Homewood Mountain Resort has a lot of great inbound opportunities, but there's also out-of-bound opportunities as well, where we have backcountry training sessions that you can participate in. You can go out into the backcountry with a guide, and the guide will show you around the backcountry, or you can venture off on your own if you have the right equipment and training.
So putting a small ski area would work out. I sort of laid out an idea of how a ski area could work on that piece of land. The first ski lift is where the platter lift is on the right side. And that was a rope tow that I put in. I built the rope tow on a trailer, of all things. That's where the motor sat. It was a gas-operated drive. And I made enough money to buy 64 pair of rentals, used rentals, boots, and poles. And then I needed a building, so I built a little A-frame, semi-A-frame, for the building. So that housed the 65 pair rentals and a little repair bench on the back. And I had a pot-bellied stove, came out of a caboose. I burned coal wood. So, and that little building still stands. It's the building over on the other side of the man chair. I would fit the kids up with ski boots and skis and poles and shove them out the back door. And then I would, then after they got outside, I'd go outside and hit the button and start to lift. And then I'd ring the ski school bell. Kind of a one-man operation. Yeah. You know, I haven't gone through this in a long time, so you're bringing up a lot of start type things. So anyway, I had a toboggan for in case of an accident, which we had a few of those. But I'd go up and teach them skiing, and always sold candy bars, stuff inside, and that was the way it ran.
I love my job. I have fun doing my job because it's a variety. The things that, you know, I do accounting and payroll and I pay all the bills, but I like jumping out and helping, teaching skiing, doing sweep and patrol, you know, getting out on the mountain and helping other departments.
Lake Tahoe is an amazing place. Not only that, it's really the people too. Everybody really comes here together to work hard and also have a good time. We're all brought together by the love and passion of the outdoors, and we all have that in common.
Homewood made it affordable for my family to ski. That's really important because it's such a wonderful sport, and not a lot of people can afford to take a family of 4 skiing for the weekend or for the day. And because our community there's so many families that we need to keep them on our mountain.
And then I had these families that came in here to go skiing. And one was the Ulrich family. And they really enjoyed it. And Ms. Ulrich used to bring the kids in, which was Hank and George and Bill. She had 3 children. I approached her, not her, it was her son, her middle son, George. He had a trust. And he asked me what I was going to do here, and I approached him with the same master plan that I had approached the others with. And I said, this is what can be done. And I feel with a lot of hard work and doing things by hand, we can make it a nice ski area for families. And he became very interested in it. I was able to work with George, and he had this trust, and he says, I would like to work with the trust. And I said, that'd be great. So I set up a contract with him, and that's when we built the bladder lift. And we built he bought the land. He bought the 12 acres from Don Huff.
What's also really neat about Homewood Mountain Resort is we're right on the lake. When you ski to the bottom of the resort, we're just a few steps from the lake. There's some runs where it feels like you're skiing into the lake. So it's pretty amazing. We're kind of off the beaten path, so we don't typically see a lot of the crowds that other resorts see. Generally, our lift lines are shorter. Our tree skiing is more expansive, and we also tend to get a lot of really good power. The snow likes to drop on Homewood before it goes across the lake.
It's a great mountain to get back to what skiing, winter recreation was all about some time ago. And you can truly enjoy yourself. And many of my friends within the industry would come and visit me when I was there and say, you know, this place is great. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty simple, and you can get around very easily. And for the most part, skiing's real good also.
It's not as busy as the other resorts, and Some days you feel like this whole mountain's all yours. We have the best view of the lake, of the entire lake, and it's very picturesque and beautiful.
As far as the uniqueness of Homewood, I was always enthralled with the view. I mean, it's just mind-boggling on a clear day there. One of my favorite runs at Homewood is Hidden Vein, and you get a short ways down Hidden Vein and it opens up and you ski out, and big opening, and you look and you can see the entire lake. And when I would go out and go skiing, and I would associate or climb on a triple chair with 2 people, or climb on a quad with 3 people on it, and ask them if they'd ever been there before and they hadn't, and how do you ski. And I'd always say, I'll take you to my favorite spot. So we'd go out and go to that spot, and it is I get a little emotional. Sorry. It's gorgeous.
The platter lift worked out very well for the first year, and then we started building the spring lift, which is the short 1,000-foot lift up here. It's gone now, but the building underneath it is still there. That went up to the edge of the property, and when we were building it and putting it together, unfortunately for George, it was a bad accident, and anyway, we lost George. And Mrs. Orridge was sick about it, and I went to her and I said, well, basically it was his trust went back to the family. And I said, well, if you want to, we can dismantle everything and take it apart. And she says, she said, I'll work under his contract. And I said, well, that'd be good. So that's how we finished up the spring lift. And the spring lift worked very well. We put night skiing in, we put lights on the towers, and it worked very well. And we had a lot of people that would come in at night. Anyway, from there, Ms. Orange was very good. We followed the master plan, drew a master plan of what could be done, but we had to buy the land to grow. And to buy the land, there were 17 different owners in this area to buy the land to go where you see the quad. So to buy land, people didn't want to be paid cash, but they would go for trades. So I bought lakefront homes, which are cheap at the time. And I trade the lakefront homes for their land in the back. And we bought West Shore Lodge. And then while we were at it, we were doing all right buying land. The way we were going, we bought the lot where the marina is. And then we started buying the little houses in between. So by the time we got through, there were 17 different people. And that completed the resort. That was the resort as you see it today.
I think our technology has changed. The way that we do business is different, a little bit different. But the one thing that I think is that has not changed is our family atmosphere, and always being there for our guests and keeping it really homey. And no matter how many owners have been here, it's always stayed really family oriented, and that's really important to me.
One of the most exciting products that we are offering now is snowcat skiing, and it's a program where we take people up to Ellis Peak and they ski and ride down through old growth forest down to one of our chairlifts back into our boundary, and then head back up again. And that's one of my favorite projects that I've been working on since I've been here.
A few years ago, I helped Homewood started this cat skiing operation, and so I had an opportunity to start helping out with that, and I was also growing my skills and trying to help out the team at Homewood, and so got to evolve my knowledge of the mountain and move from the top of the chairlift assisted terrain up to Ellis Peak, where you're skinning up there during a lunch break or actually guiding a tour of skiers using the snowcat to get up there, it just opened up Homewood to kind of a whole new level for me, and this adventurous backcountry feeling of, I don't know exactly where I'm going. I've done my research and I know, but these aren't places you're doing multiple laps. You're going up there, and each time you go up, it's a different experience. I think that's what's exciting, is that Homewood continues to surprise me. After skiing there for, over 30, almost 40 years, it's like, I'm still finding new things. I still feel like there's terrain out there that I'm trying to find and get to that is really fun. The thing that I think makes Homewood unique is hard to put your finger on or put into words. It's so many things, right? It's the seasons, it's the location, it's the peak to shore, water, mountain, hospitality experience. There's this athletic component to it that I think is something that makes it unique to me, that like you can have multi-sport days, where you go mountain biking and foiling in the same day, or you can go water skiing and snow skiing the same day. You can go snowshoeing and cross-country skiing, and it just has such a diverse offering. It's somehow remained quiet and kind of peaceful, and you're able to find some space. We definitely have our peak days and busy days of holidays and things like that, but the time in between, you can just find really unique moments that you don't get other places. It's so picturesque. Everywhere you look could be a postcard, whether it's deep in the trees and seeing the moss and color of the trees and the texture of things, or an epic panoramic view standing on the end of the harbor, or downloading the chairlift, or sitting on the deck at the West Shore Cafe. There's very few places like that in the world, and I think that's what makes it unique.
As we look back, we want to thank our wonderful team for preserving our values and culture over the years. We also want to thank our guests. Our guests make everything we do worthwhile, and we could not still be here if it wasn't for the families and friends who come here to enjoy what Homewood has to offer. Thank you. And we'll see you on the mountain.